We'll call the regular board meeting for Lake County School District number 7 to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval amendment of meeting agenda items.
I move to amend the agenda and the table item 9.5, updated job descriptions in the consent agenda until May 12, 2021, regular session board meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to amend the agenda and table item 9.5, updated job descriptions in the consent agenda until the May 12th, 2021 regular session board meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of minutes.
I move to approve the minutes of March 10th, 2021 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of March 10th, 2021 as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Good news.
We got some good news. We're excited about, we got an engineer working on the daycare, so we're working on that, going forward with that program. Our facilities are getting a lot of the work orders done, so we've got a lot done. So I'm pretty excited about that. I keep you updated with that, but it's good. That's the good news going on. Would you like me to go to the reports?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, going right on. Couple things. We got the principal survey coming up there, so we got the survey out. So the principal's results, we have those. We'll design some questions for everyone. We have a committee process, so people are signing up to be on that committee. The final 2 candidates will go to me, and then I'll do some reference checks, and then we'll bring it to the board. We hope later. We close on the 26th of April, so we're hoping to interview in May. So that's our plan. Right, currently we have about, I think it's 5 applicants. Summer programs, large list of stuff going there. It changes daily, so we have a pretty good chunk of change coming now. I mean, I'll give you an example. Even today I worked with the Algier Theater, so we're gonna have summer movies for all of our kids. So our kids will have at least 4 opportunities to go to movies, and those will be passes for them to see movies at night in the summer, just to get them active. So that's just one example of things just happened today. So I'll keep the board appraised of it. We're working on STEAM, music, drama, dance, band camp, and forestry, natural resources, flower design, kinder camp, daycare, and others. So we have a whole lot going down the pipe on that one. We have 2 sessions. We have the first one right after school for 2 weeks, ending July 2nd, and the next session in August 2nd. So we'll keep you posted on that one. Next month, we'll have the draft facilities policy and the draft 5-year plan for improvement for our facilities. Daycare update, we're still working on like I mentioned, the compliance piece. And Commissioner Schallenberger was able to help us get $60,000. We're hoping to increase that as we go. So we thank him for that. Draft calendar, we got the calendar out there, and this is the draft. So the way the process works, to remind everyone, is both unions will be looking at this. We're giving us feedback. We'll bring it to the board next month, with all the different feedback, and then the board make a decision of how we can get the calendar. We have streamlined the calendar system immensely. There were 4, now we're going down to 1. So you'll see a couple things there. Well, a couple things are unique. People want to know about the January. Why don't we come back on January 3rd? Well, because the holiday's on the 1st, which is a Saturday, so we have to go the next day after, and that's what happens there. In addition, we creative part here is that this year, the way November 11th falls, it's a Thursday, so we're looking at maybe the parent conferences, the first one, have it on a Thursday, Friday. That way we can get a 4-day weekend for our staff and our families. But that's up to the board, and that's up to feedback from the 2 unions. So once we get that, we'll go there. There was also some concerns about the holiday break, winter Christmas break. If they went to school on the 20th and 21st of December, then that will move back the June end day of school. So, a little earlier. So those are feedback we got from one union already. We're waiting for the other union to come back. So this is a living document. We'll give it to the board, and the board will have opportunity next month to go forward. Okay, so that's what I have there. Last thing, I have a couple things I wanted to mention. Negotiations were going really great with the OSEA. We have our first negotiation with the LOEA. We have them on Monday, so we're looking forward to working with them. On the PERS bonding, we have that part here. We're gonna hold off on that right now. Janet and I looked at that and she's put a lot of time into it. And right now it's not the right time to go, so we're gonna wait another month and get all the groups together, see what the economy comes back and goes from there. Backpack program, we really appreciate it. We got some great community members helping us with that one, so I'll keep you posted on that one as we move forward. We're hoping to get a backpack program going soon, so our kids who are in need will be able to have a backpack towing home. So we got a couple of
For
our
the
staff
weekends.
members. Pardon?
For the weekend.
For the weekends, and yeah, that's what we're looking at. And then, mentor program ended. We really want to thank the teachers who participated in that. We had 15 the last class, and that was just one of the best classes I learned more than they did, so it was really great. And Susan Warner and Rosanna Cahill and others were mentoring. It was really great, and the entire experience was great, so we appreciate that. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Any questions for me?
Just one, or unless others do. The summer school program. Do you anticipate that being, you have to attend all the subjects, or you can pick and choose?
Well, we're gonna look at pick and choosing. So at the high school, we just got the regulations yesterday. So there's a big packet. I actually brought the packet and I sent it to you guys as well. That packet is pretty engaging. So for the community watching, it's 30-something pages. So what's unclear and what's missing? What we figured out is the secondary level needs to be academic remediation or exhilaration. So to excel, so you might get a couple extra classes. So we're looking at credit by, I met with Chris Rose today because Mr. Stratton's out, but we'll meet with him. We're looking at credit by proficiency, so we might be able to have a welding camp or something like that. So yeah, there'd be a combination of two, but it has to be academics at the high school. K-8, which will also include next year's freshmen, they get the benefit. They have also the part about going out and doing some activities, and that's where we're looking at that part. So we're looking at contracting with the town for swimming pool. That's one of the things we want, so the swimming passes will buy there. I talked to Mr. Thompson as well, and he did, he's really done a good job with his group there, and he's gonna probably piggyback on that idea as well. So that's a great question. And I also I talked about Mr. Thompson, I wanted to mention that he was able to get 2 behavior specialists, so kudos to him. Those 2 behavior specialists will start on the 19th, and we're gonna meet them next week, so we're really excited about that because of our mental health issues, and the board asked for that, and the ESD was very responsive to get us 2 for our county. So, did I answer your question on the summer school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board or others?
I'm good.
Okay. Thank you all very much.
All right, thank you. Good report. Any public comment? All right, let's go to reports with National Honor Society Library Project.
Hi everyone, I'm Allison Hussey and I'm doing the Honor Society today. Drive S and DMS Student Library. Honor Society felt with COVID that it would be best to create a book drive that could be done virtually so that community members can still contribute to the school. And so right now we've created that community members can purchase books for the high school through Amazon. And I created that with Janet Mills last Friday. Our idea behind this is to get kids more involved in what they want to read, because in a lot of our core classes we're required to read our own library. We wanted students to have the opportunity to do this themselves. And so what we did was we sent out surveys to the student body, 7th through 12th grade. And from the, we're still receiving some, but so far we have 137 responses. And there's a big push for about 54% of the students want more mystery, and about 43% want more adventure. And some authors they want us, James Patterson and Stephen King. So we're excited to get those books in there. And from the student body and ones that Miss Frank, the librarian, has compiled over the years, we're going to narrow those down and put them on the Amazon registry account to advertise to the community for through the newspaper, radio, and other small groups, so that any individual can go onto the Amazon registry, and there'll be instructions included wherever we advertise to go on there and purchase. Just to sell 30 books right now, and that's pretty much what the whole project is, just to get kids more involved and want to read in the upcoming months and next school year. As we get that list compliance, send out, like I said, the advertisements to the community. And I encourage all of you guys to go on there and purchase some books for our students. We hope to do this also in upcoming years for the students as well, so that as their interests grow, we'll keep promoting this library. Do you guys have any questions?
One more time, how do we go in to do the purchasing?
So we haven't completed that registry for that yet. So once we complete the registry, we're going to go on there, and that'll be advertised all over, and it'll be sent out to the student body and through the parent email as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Allison.
And I would like to suggest too that maybe we meet with the Honor Society sometime, the superintendent, the principal, because I would like to see about making this a summer program as well. If we do that with some of our summer money, this might be a really great opportunity driven by the students to get some of the books.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
That's pretty much
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
I think it's a great deal for our honor society. Go ahead. I think it's a great deal for our honor society to do another activity such as this that has an academic tie to it, but also pays back to our school and anyone anywhere can be involved. They don't have to be in Lake County, they just be in Lakeview. So I'm hoping we can reach out to some of our alumni across Oregon and across the states and say, hey, buy some books, get us some fresh titles on our shelves, and help us out. So I think this is a great way to expand our name and get people back involved, pay it forward, I should say, to Lakeview High School, Middle School, and the library. But also, it's a great way to raise funds and improve our school during COVID. What a great idea and great use of your guys' thinking. I don't know who came up with this, Allison. I've loved this one today. You guys told me about it, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And I think your 30 titles, you're shooting a little low. I think this is going to blow up.
Thank you.
Any last things there, Allison?
I was just wondering if I could request to get on the agenda for the next board meeting in May, so that Honor Society can get their yearly update.
Absolutely. That'd be great. We're getting nods yes over here from Tandy, so we're good.
Great, thank you.
All right. Okay, building principal reports. Who would like to go? Mrs. Warner.
I'll go ahead, Lane's deferring, it sounds like. He's just a gentleman, ladies first, right? I wanted to start with a little bit of an update for Union. Parents Club hasn't been meeting a whole lot, they've been mostly meeting virtually with Parents Club and staff, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update because we've got some projects in the works that are kind of fun. We will be doing year-end awards June 10th at Union and then June 11th at Hay. And then the Union is planning their normal year-end picnic on June 11th, the last day of school for the students. We have picked 2 May days for an after-school gardening club on Wednesdays. Randy Nider is going to head that up, and kids that would like to stay after school can go and help with the greenhouse and the garden out there and do a little spring planting. Mr. Carter's been working with the Parents Club, and we have pea gravel going into an area and some Tonka trucks coming that the Parents Club are going to purchase for our younger kids out at Union. We have a similar place at Fremont, and it's very popular. Parents Club is also interested in purchasing a PA system for the Union Gym, and Evan is working on quotes with me for that. And then we'll take it back to Parents Club, and they would like to be able to purchase that. Parents Club has also, along the way, been purchasing large amounts of library books. Usually every year, their Carnival funds for the last 3 years have been purchasing library books to keep, as Lane said, those titles really fresh on our library shelves for our kiddos. This year, they are not doing the Carnival similar to last spring because of COVID restriction, but they're doing a raffle instead, and you'll see kids advertising all over for raffle tickets. With it on May 1st, I believe.
Yeah.
And then in at Fremont and Hay, we're still doing monthly assemblies and monthly safety drills. Our K through 2 teachers are continuing their professional development in phonics and creating a very consistent phonics program for our K through 2 kids. It's helping fill those gaps that our kids experienced at COVID last spring and summer. Like Mr. Carter said, summer school planning is really moving forward at a fast pace. I had some initial info that went out in April to parents, just letting them know that more information would be coming and that we would have some summer programs. The elementary piece that is specific is that the last 2 weeks of our summer programs will include kindergarten camp like we've done in the past, where we train the troops a little bit with smaller numbers of people there. We will be offering kindergarten roundup as usual, May 13th and May 18th. We'll do 2 sessions each evening. The additional sessions are to help accommodate schedules, but also to provide some safety with those COVID guidelines and spacing, social distancing. Fremont and Hay did their Easter candy fundraiser. It was very successful. They actually made more money than they've made in years. And that money is earmarked towards electronic reader board. We've been tossing around the idea of putting up electronic reader board at both elementary schools and raising money for that, just to keep our parents more informed and our public involved in our school. We held intervention meetings last week to realign our math and reading interventions we provide to our students for the last 9 weeks of school. The mentoring program approached me and they would like to expand their services for their activities. They already have mentors that work with Union kids, but with COVID, they have not done activities with those kids. So we'd like to bring those kids to town a couple Wednesdays so that they can interact with those kids doing mentor activities. They do 1 a month. 6th grade orientation will be in May. We're still working on a schedule, back and forth with Brandy, Chris, and Lane on that. The agency services here in town have been wonderful. Tony Longacre is going to do the fishing derby like we did 2 years ago, but he wants to include this year's 5th graders because they didn't get to go as 4th graders. So we'll be sending one group one day and one group another day to do the fishing derby and get that caught up for our kids and give them some opportunity outdoors. Our teachers are still doing just a few conferences, but as of right now, we're at a 92% attendance rate for our parents at conferences. We had a few phone conferences, but for the most part, we did not offer a virtual option this spring, and had a lot of people in the building and a lot of great things to say about our kids and their learning. It was very helpful. Chairman Schulenberger asked about attendance last enrollment last board meeting, so I wanted to give you guys just some information about that. I'm going to start with Union. Right now, Union has the lowest attendance rate, the enrollment rate, since 2013-14. They have 41 students right now. Their 5-year average for students is 48, which is where we would like to be. The highest they've had was last year at 52, but right now we're at 41. Okay, and then at Fremont and Hay, we are currently at 306. Last year at this time I had 359. Right now we have the lowest enrollment at Fremont Hay that we've had since 2011 and 12. And that 5-year average was 359. 5-year average is 352. Highest enrollment I had was last year at 359. And that's what I have for this evening. We're doing lots of formal evaluations and planning for next year, and I've done a couple interviews with teachers. We've got a couple resignations, and we're moving forward thinking about getting back to normal and what next year will bring for our students and our staff. Do you have any questions?
I do not.
No, I don't either.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I like the statistics.
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Schreiber.
Good afternoon. Been quarantined, and it's not fun, especially for someone like me who needs to be busy and has tons of crap to do at home and at work. And you can't do either, especially when the wind's blowing Mach 50 and making you have earaches. But life goes on. Job openings, we're still looking at an English language arts position, an ag position, a science position. We finished up our art interviews, and hopefully me and the committee can make some decisions end of this week, first next week. And then we also have a special ed position to look at. We have completed our interviews on the Spanish position, and hopefully we have some good news coming to you guys real soon on that one. I went to 3 job fairs over spring break virtually, and had a really good one with Southern Oregon University. The only deal was they were all elementary people, but I did send Miss Warner some love, and hopefully she will get some applicants out of it. But I was super excited about 4 people at Southern Oregon University. They did a great job. Southern Oregon University, shout out to them. Their candidates were probably the best prepared professionals and had some best questions, and that's not always been so. They had a great group of young prospective teachers. It was actually a good day for me. But I think I'm done with my virtual job fairs, so I don't know what we're gonna do now. I've had a couple job fairs send me resume packets, but I think Mr. Rose and I will sit down and go through those resume packets and start backdooring some people. Enrollment, Mr. Schillenberger, I have 57 7th graders and 51 8th graders for 108 middle school students. There's currently 70 9th graders, 54 10th graders, 57 11th graders, and 52 12th graders. That'll make 233 at the high school. We have recently enrolled 7 new students since spring break, 2 at the middle school and 5 at the high school, which is odd for this time of year. Get those numbers okay?
Got it.
Okay. We've started our statewide testing, and Tara Counts is doing an amazing job with a handful of our teachers. I gave our teachers 2 early release Wednesdays to do their training for that test. They have to read quite a bit, and they have to watch a couple videos and do a confidentiality test. What's that fancy word? I don't know, but anyways, how to ensure that they're giving proctoring a test ethically. And so we started testing this week. The testing window is open through June 11th, but we'll be done by then. The 7th, 8th, and 11th graders are taking an English language arts test. No writing this year, and 7th, 8th, and 11th graders are taking a math test. And then the 8th and 11th graders will be taking science tests. I've heard that all the tests are a little bit shorter also this year, so be curious to see where it's at. I have a good feeling that Lakeview students will do better than a lot of students across the nation, but we probably will see a little glitch because of COVID, due to COVID and the closure last spring. But I don't know. We got some great teachers, and we've been rocking it this year in person. Our core teachers do a lot of the testing in the classroom on computers. We do, however, send some students to the computer lab, especially mixed classes, mixed grade level classes. For instance, like in pre-calc and calculus, not everyone's an 11th grader that has to take the math test. So Mrs. Counts does some specific student testing in the counseling in lab 2. I also get support from my special ed teachers and my special ed paras, who also will test some other students in quiet settings, in small group settings also, due to their IEPs. So excited that we've gotten that started. Also thanks to Shauna and Evan, who have kept our technology up and running. That's a knock on wood, that we'll be able to take care of all that also. Last week we had the SAT, or this week we had an SAT at school. There was 13 students that took the SAT. We offer the SAT twice during the year, during a school day, because I think it's better because not everybody wants to take it on a Saturday or because of Saturday sports. We will still continue to be a testing site. It was probably 3 weeks ago, right before spring break, I believe Mrs. Chavez hosted an ASAT Saturday, and we'll continue to host a couple more of those through the school year and in the summer. Thank you to Mrs. Chavez for supporting us on that. And then the last one for me is conferences, but I'm going to let Mr. Rose talk about our conferences because I was unable to attend and he might have a fresher perspective than I would. Okay, any questions? Thanks, Mr. Schulberger.
Just a comment. I attended the middle school / high school parent teacher conferences and just want to commend the efforts there as far as spacing, professionalism, and I think I even got some cookies out of the deal. So kudos.
Yep, cookies were from our family consumer science classes and Miss June Dick. She does an awesome job for us. I like the new spacing too. I think it helps with the privacy, so I think we'll keep that model as we move forward.
Like it. Thanks.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments from Mr. Stratton? Okay, let's move to Mr. Rose. Lakeview Academy Principal, VP, and AD.
We had a handful of conferences for the Lakeview Academy as well. I attended one in person with Miss Farr. She had set up a couple of them virtually. We had several no-shows. Overall, it was more than 6. However, the other side of that is there's pretty consistent communication through emails and phone calls, setting up the Learning Center meets. And so Miss Farr does a real great job of communicating with families and coordinating with students to come in and work a little bit in person, just to have a quiet space and some support from her in the Learning Center. So we felt okay with that. We're moving into talking about budget. She has done a great job looking at different options for next year, and so that's still on the table. We're still working through that, and we'll be discussing that here down the road just a little bit about what we're going to do, what it's going to look like for next year. Edgenuity itself is making some changes with the software, with the different platforms that they use within the Edgenuity umbrella. And so Sam Farr has really done some good research on different options for us, what that would look like, and how we could staff that. So I'm very grateful for her hard work on that one. And we're rolling out that tardy policy that Lena talked about last time, so we'll have some after-school detention for students that have 3 or more tardies in one class period with one teacher. We shared about summer opportunities. We're hoping to get some of that summer enrichment with our teachers. The kiddos this summer, we'll see what kinds of programs teachers can come up with to be creative. I'm going to be on the committee here to interview Lane's replacement, and so I'm excited about that. So you get to see what that looks like and what candidates bring to the table. We also are in the process of forming our handbook review committee. So that's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be meeting and to discuss our student handbook, what, if any, changes, revisions we need to make for next year, and we'll include some input from Mr. Carter on that too, as he's looked at it and has some good ideas for us. We are rolling through the interviews. We have had 5 Lane online interviews for both art and Spanish. We've had some good candidates for both positions, and decisions haven't and will not be easy, really, because we have some good candidates, so it's good to see that. Athletic-wise, we're moving into season 3. We just finished up season 2, so remember, season 2 this year was fall, season 3 is spring, and then we do winter this spring and summer. But we had a baseball game already this week, last night, even though it was pretty cold, windy. I don't think the Fort Road River team that practiced in 70-degree weather on Monday was ready for our temperatures yesterday. But it was a good game, and we're just kind of rolling through it. It's fast and furious, lots of changes. We have track as well right now. We just hired a middle school track coach, so there's a lot going on again in these compact seasons, and everyone is hoping and praying for that season 4 to be a go with basketball and wrestling. So we'll see how that rolls out. Any questions?
Well, I hate to ask all the questions, but Did you happen to have your enrollment numbers with the academy?
I don't by grade level. It's changed a little bit since I gave them in the first semester, but I can get them to you.
Do you have a total?
63.
So yes, so it's a mix. It's a mix. So we have actually some kiddos. We have 59 that are with Edgenuity teachers only. And we have kind of a mixed group because we have some kiddos that are working under SAMFAR with Edgenuity licenses, but it's courseware. So it's like the old Odyssey Ware that we had. There's 12 in that's in those courseware licenses where she manages them. She's the teacher. But then we also have several students, and that number I'm not tight on because we have several students that are also taking classes through Edgenuity that are campus students. They're doing that because of an option that's available to them. It didn't work in their schedule. We've made some things available to them, kind of like we do with Orbit as well. And so that number kind of changes by semester and such, but that's looking at about 10 to 15 right now. But grade level wise, I can get that to you if you'd like that too, for those full-time students within Edgenuity.
I'm just curious, the 46 students that Mrs. Warner's down, how many of them are actually in your group?
So the elementary, right, let me pull that one up. The elementary numbers really don't tend to show that. 2 first graders, 2 second graders, 4 third graders, 6 fourth graders, and 4 sixth graders don't really reflect that big change there at the elementary.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Rose? Okay, Special Ed Director. Bonnie?
So Susan did my report for me. I'm just gonna tag on to some special ed stuff that we're doing for transition for students for next year. So we're looking at last year was really hard with COVID. We were not able to take the 6th grade up to 7th grade to visit, to see their meet their teachers, kind of go through that whole process. And so this year we're working with the high school staff on how we're going to do that, and we're going to bring the 6th graders up to 7th grade. Special ed parents have really had a hard time not meeting teachers ahead of time, so we're going to work through that process, as well as we're going to send a paraprofessional up that knows our kids from the 6th grade and can go up for a couple weeks into the middle school to help those kids transition with their new special ed teacher and also with their all of their academic teachers as well. We're also working with Head Start. We work with Mike Benson from the ESD on the transitioning of the kids from Head Start that are on an IEP for special education. I've also talked to the director of Head Start, and there's at least 23 non-special ed students coming in from Head Start this year, so it's a little bit more than we've had before, and that's just Head Start. That's not including all the other programs in the county. We're also planning for our extended school year right now, and we usually kind of have an idea by this time, hours and students, and so we'll have that by the end of the month in a plan, so we'll be bringing that to May to you guys like we have every year. And at this time, we're working on who's going to teach that. We're going to jump into the schedule that the whole district has for summer school with those 2 weeks in June and 3 weeks in August, so that they our students can take advantage of some of our enrichment activities, as well as some remedial stuff for their schoolwork that we need over the summer. So that's what I have for you guys. Do you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Janet, financial report.
Thanks. Good evening, everybody. So if you take a look at your packet that was, or what was included in your packet for revenues, we collected about 78%, we projected 74% overall, inclusive of state, federal, local revenue sources. If you look at the local sources, which is your tax money, 90% versus the 86% that we projected. So it's not back up because I was a little bit concerned about, the people paying their property taxes with all the pandemic and that going on and lack thereof getting to, and that sort of thing, or having the resources. So I think we're kind of getting back on the ball rolling there. The other thing, resources, we're about 74, and this one is usually pretty much a slam dunk to project because we know what we're getting all year long. In May, we also, we could have a takeaway or we could have depending on what our 1920 reconciliation is with our audit versus what we actually received, that has been completed. I just heard word from Lindsay, I believe we were working on that, fine tuning that and that sort of thing. And so I don't know what that fine is. I would just sit down. I'm sure that they have sent it to me, but I'm trying to get this budget done, and so I apologize. I don't have that number quite yet nailed down, and we're right on, owe a little bit, or they owe less, which I always like it when they owe me, so this is usually where we sit. That is on the revenue side. Revenues were pretty favorable, it roughly $26,000 than what we anticipated. But our years, we're up on our local workers by about 132, which right now, we've probably had that little catch up in that sort of thing. Federal sources and state sources are up a little bit. Any questions on the revenue?
We're good.
Okay. Okay. Move right into expenditures. Of course, projected year to date, we were at 50%. We're about halfway through it at the end of February there. We are at 4019 of things. Now, if you'll look to your right, 60 projected salaries and benefits versus what we in our original budget, which was roughly 57%. But if you look over at other objects, our durables, those classroom items, those kinds of things, we projected to be at 47% level, Leslie at 43% of year-to-date spending on those everything else outside of salaries and benefits. So it kind of mashes that back all back out for that. Today expenditures, we did well under plan, anticipated at 7,000 in the month of February, Then our year to date, we're about 49% of our, which is what I had just gave you. Our salaries were over quite a bit by about 121,000, along with those payroll costs, which is our PERS and our health insurance and TSAs and that sort. And so that we've had this discussion. I'm pretty sure we beat that horse to death. So, any questions on the February?
Just maybe a question or a comment on the year-to-date other objects that is down about 4%. Do you think that could be contributed to more use of Chromebooks and less use of
Yeah.
and less use of other things?
Yeah, definitely. And I think too, like our copying services, I believe is down a little bit. Copying, whatever at the elementary school, especially. So the Chromebooks, I think you're right, has provided us with a little bit less. Two are pretty cautious. We get what we need, but at the same time, very cautious with we don't know what the future holds, even though the rules keep changing day to day. And so, you know, I think that contributes a lot to it. So I think we're a little bit more conservative than normal.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions on revenues and or expenditures? Okay. We do, our general fund, our month-end balance. If you look at the month of February, in the prior year is in the blue, the red, or excuse me, the blue is in the current year and the red is in the prior year. We are up a little bit with a 3.0 in the month of February. On track, and of course June plummets, and that's for us. We pay out tax in those months, and right at the moment we're $880,000 carryover into next year. Gonna maybe even change it as Mr. Carter had mentioned before, more funding sources, which if they send those to us, you know, in May, and that's gonna also this again for this year because it will carry over into the next. So all of those are a moving target. In all the 7 years, this is probably the biggest, scariest thing I've ever encountered with moving parts. I usually have it pretty narrowed down, and I'm a week and a half out and scared that I'm gonna miss the moving part. So I think that it's just gonna keep changing, and I think you're gonna change. But that's where we are sitting at this very moment.
So I want to mention to the board on the financial part as well. Janet and I talked. We're going to have extra money come in, so we're waiting on the resolutions till the end. There's just no reason to keep bringing resolutions back to you until it settles. So,
Which is the extra money tied to something?
well, it'll be tied to different programs we have
Yeah.
coming up. So
Yeah.
So we just thought we'd wait till the end. Otherwise, we're going to have 4 or 5 resolutions a month, and it's moving. So, but Janet's done a good job keeping up with it.
Cool.
So mostly various the ESSER funds is what, and so there's fund round 2 and then the GER fund that's inclusive in there. And so you know, I mean, Biden just did another CARES Act or stimulus package, so that plays into there too. And so I finally just kind of had to say I need to stop for a minute and let it catch up all in June, one big massive resolution at the end.
Well, and I noticed that with SRS, Lake County School District number 7 gets about 70% of the funding, because that's where the students are at in Lake County. Is that about right?
That's about right.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Janet. Find my agenda here again. All right. Any old business? How about new business?
Mr. Chairman, we have resolution number 10, board meeting for today. Teacher Appreciation Week resolution, May 3rd through 7th, 2021. Whereas teachers mold future citizens through guidance and education, and whereas teachers encounter students of widely differing backgrounds, and whereas our country's future depends on providing quality education to all students, whereas teachers spend countless hours preparing lessons, evaluating progress, counseling, coaching students, and performing community service, and whereas our community recognizes and supports its teachers and education, our students in our community, now therefore be it resolved that the Lake County School District number 7 Board of Directors proclaims May 3rd through May 7th, 2021 to be Teacher Appreciation Week, and be it further resolved that the Lake County School District number 7 Board of Directors strongly encourages all members of our community to join with it in personally expressing appreciation to our teachers for their dedication and devotion to their work. Adopted today, if the board approves that tonight.
All right.
So, I move to approve resolution number 10, 2020-21 Certified Teachers Appreciation Week, May 3rd through the 7th of 2021. We would like to extend our appreciation to all Lake County School District number 7 teachers for the great work that they do. Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 10-2020-21 Certified Teacher Appreciation Week, May 3rd through the 7th of 2021. We'd like to extend our appreciation to all Lake County School District number 7 teachers for the great work that they do. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
Thank you, sir. Very nice.
We have Teacher Appreciation Week. Okay. Any other new business? Okay. Consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved to approve the consent agenda as presented
With the amendment
with the amendment of item 9.5.
To be tabled till next time.
Yep, table till May 12th. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Announcements.
None.
Next board meeting agenda items.
We have quite a plethora of them.
I'll just go back to announcements real quick. I just want to, some of the people that are on the consent agenda, longtime teachers, Mrs. Kiley, Mr. Lampman, and want to thank them for the great work that they've done for the many, many years. So can't go without that. And also want to thank Mr. Stratton for all the hard work that he's done as principal and the new challenge that he's taken on here in the future. So, thank you. Okay. We have a lot of May agenda items, including the facility use policy, which is currently draft, PACE update, small school conference update, and staff evaluation process. Okay. Anything else? Looking for adjournment.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.